Man, what's up? What's up? How's it going? Kyle Henderson coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Could I get a roll tide inside the comment box? Coming to you on this beautiful Friday. We made it to Friday. And I got some great news to talk to you about today regarding the transfer portal and recruiting. We're also going to talk about the world of college football going into this holiday season. So thank you very much for being with me. Hit the thumbs up on this video if you think that Alabama is going to finish with the top 3 recruiting class. There's a lot to dive into. And one of the biggest storylines, and I'll get to you, Brock, inside the comment box, is asking about Ryan Williams, who has a big announcement coming up. I did receive some intel on that, and I will talk about Ryan Williams in just a little bit. So thanks for joining me. Let's look at the transfer portal, and these are a couple items on the left, and then we're going to talk about some official visitors who are coming in this weekend. But I think one of the biggest pieces was yesterday, the pieces news, and I think with Ja'Cory Brooks, I think where to start with Ja'Cory Brooks. He was one of the players who really rose up this past season, and we'll put that call-in line. The call-in line is open, and I'll take your guys' calls in just a second. So when we look to Ja'Cory Brooks and what he was able to do for the Alabama Crimson Tide, clearly he did a lot, not this season, but last season. And I think with him leaving, you look to kind of the wide receivers that also left within that recruiting class, right? You look to Ajay Hall, JoJo Earl, Christian Leary. All those guys are other places. Add on Aaron Anderson, Thio Jones-Bell, who also entered the transfer portal. I think the writing was on the wall with Ja'Cory Brooks. 674 yards and 39 receptions last season with 8 touchdowns. Came up big in the Iron Bowl. And as Coach Saban always says, you are remembered for what you did in the Iron Bowl, right? And came up big with a touchdown to help Alabama win a couple seasons ago. So best wishes to him. I honestly think that Ja'Cory Brooks is going to find a landing spot where he is still going to be productive. I think that he has a really good upside. He's a tall, lanky wide receiver with a lot of playmaking ability. And I think when you look to Alabama's wide receiver room, and that's kind of what we're talking about, does it make sense if Alabama was to add like an Evan Stewart or someone else from the transfer portal? And let me tell you this, like Evan Stewart has not even entered the transfer portal just yet. And we appreciate Ruggs becoming a fan funder. If you want to become a fan funder, a member of this YouTube channel, go up to the top. It says subscribe, and next to it says join, as low as $2.99 per month. And you can also hit the hyperlink if you are on your phone. So as we look to the wide receivers right here, you have Jermaine Burton, who's a senior. And I'm going to tell you this, Jermaine Burton, if he wanted to, he could come back for another season. I don't think he's going to be honest. I think he's proved enough that he is capable to play in the NFL. So let's just say that he's probably out. Well, the junior that you have coming back is just Malik Benson. Now we scratched off Ja'Cory Brooks. The reason I don't have Thio Jones-Bell on this board, A, he's entering the transfer portal, or he already entered it, but B, he was already taken off the roster back in August, right? So here's where things look like for Alabama's wide receiving unit. You have Kendrick Law, Isaiah Bond, Kobe Prentice, and Emmanuel Henderson. And I think that's the meat of that Alabama wide receiver room, and some very, very talented guys. Remember, Emmanuel Henderson came to Alabama kind of as an athlete, was a running back. Now he switched over to wide receiver. He had a hip injury. Good morning, Ruggs. I see you inside the comment box. I appreciate you becoming a fan funder as well. And then he morphed into a wide receiver. He's got a good body type, and I think he was having a good spring. He was having a good August, and then he had the injury. But whatever the case, I think Emmanuel Henderson is going to be a fine wide receiver for Alabama. And you're right. I mean, when you look to guys who are leaving, you wish them the best. And there was another one, Isaiah Hastings, who also entered the transfer portal yesterday. But I wanted to talk about the wide receivers because I think it is a strong unit. I'll bring up the board one more time just so we could look at it in in full glance. Shaz Preston's coming back. Jalen Hell, who balled out this year. Jaron Hamilton, Cole Adams. And then these guys. Look, Coach Saban on Thursday met with Amari Jefferson up in Tennessee. If you haven't seen this highlight tape, I said this yesterday. What's up, Coach Sean? I see you inside the comment box. Go check it out. And then Rico Scott is up in the Northeast out of Pennsylvania. And I know that Holman Wiggins was checking in on him. 2 very good wide receivers. So the board is filled at the wide receiver position. And later on in the show, I'm going to ask you about specific needs for the Alabama Crimson Tide and how you guys feel about what needs that does Alabama need met, right? And I want to start off kind of talking about Ja'Cory Brooks because there was so many questions about him, and I think he did have a shoulder injury, which kind of sidelined him. But the thing I will say about Ja'Cory Brooks is, I hope he finds a great landing spot, and I think we're going to hear a lot of positive things about Ja'Cory Brooks. Does it make sense that maybe he goes down to Florida, where he's from? Probably, but who knows? I mean, there's plenty of places that throw the rock around, and I think we haven't heard the last from Brooks. Um, the thing that I liked about Ja'Cory Brooks when he was here is while he wasn't playing wide receiver, he still showed up on special teams early in the season. What does he leave Alabama with? Probably close to 800 yards receiving and two block punts. Did he block two punts or one punt throughout his career? Whatever the case is, the guy's an absolute baller, and his message was class. When you leave, you say thank you for the opportunities, thank you to the coaches, thank you to the fans, thank you to my teammates, thank you for the people in my corner, and then you move on, and that's it. So all the best to Ja'Cory Brooks, who I think is going to find a great landing spot. As we've mentioned already, you have Tyler Buckner and you have Dio Jones-Bell. Isaiah Hastings joined the portal yesterday for Alabama. So you have 4 players in the transfer portal for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now is a season for roster management, and this is nothing new. This happens all the time for the Alabama Crimson Tide. The call line is open 205-850-1994. I will take your calls in just a minute. Let me hit on a couple of these items as we warm up the show. It's roster management, and this is new for the world of college football over the past, couple of seasons. There's been some timeline dates that have changed. It's the Wild West, to be honest, and I think the major impact of this is NIL and just players having the ability to be like, look, I'm not happy here. I could go and find maybe an NIL deal here or playing time there, and it's created roster management. So it's amazing to me, and I was talking about this yesterday. By the way, I had the opportunity yesterday to give a lecture on YouTube to the University of Alabama. It was a master's class, so I was really privileged and honored to be able to talk about YouTube and the platform to students who are in the digital strategy arena working on getting their master's degree. It was a really big opportunity, and I was really grateful about that. But I was talking about the transfer portal and how that has changed the world of college football, and the fact that Coach Saban is still finding a way to win despite all of these changes that are happening in college football. That's something that is really remarkable. Plus, I love the fact that he's still grinding. I mean, we've seen the photos on social media from Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. that had world's best coach. We saw him with Amari Jefferson recently, visited a running back, Kevin Riley, in this right here in our backyard in Tuscaloosa County High School. So, I mean, it's really great to see Coach Saban still grinding, still pushing away, and still gearing up to work on the roster, recruit guys to Alabama, and then also prep for the bowl season. So you think you're busy? Could you imagine Coach Saban's plate? Heads up. So today I'm going to have my call-in show. I'll take as many calls as I can within this hour. And then I have a media opportunity to go hear from Miss Terry Saban. So Coach Saban and Miss Terry, they are, they started Nick's Kids Foundations. And a lot of that encompasses that is Habitat for Humanity, and then also giving back to local teachers within the state of Alabama. So today, Miss Terry is handing out 50 $500 gift certificates to some of the top teachers in the area. They invited the media to go check it out from 11 to 1 p.m. at the River Market down here in Tuscaloosa. So I'm going to go over there and, check it out, see what it has in store. And then also there's a media availability to talk to Miss Terry after that luncheon. So I'm going to upload that to YouTube. So heads up on that. That'll come in just a little bit. All right, let's talk about a couple of these transfer portal targets on the bottom left. So LT Overton is a name that has really popped up, and I believe Freddie Roach is going to visit him. And I think that could be a welcome addition for Alabama's defensive line unit. You look to Alabama's defensive line, you're clearly going to lose Justin Ebogbe. You're going to lose some other guys within that defensive front, but getting a guy like LT Overton, I believe he was a former, big-time prospect, a really heavy recruit. All those guys from Texas A&M. I think Walter Nolan is going to go check out Oregon. So a lot of guys that are moving and shaking around, but I think LT Overton, and I don't think, because he has a brother as well, I don't think it's necessarily a package deal, but LT Overton is certainly a name to watch. You have Chris Paul Jr., and this is a really interesting name. When you look to the linebacker from Arkansas, this guy's a major target at the linebacker position. So last season, he had 62 tackles. This past season, he had 74 tackles. The guy is an absolute menace. If Alabama is able to get Chris Paul, that would be a monster addition. I think LT would be a slam dunk as well, but Chris Paul out of the transfer portal from Arkansas. And one of the things that I've always liked about Arkansas is their defense. Everybody knows, remember when Drew Sanders went to Arkansas? I mean, that was, it was part of their defense. They were known for their defense. Sam Pittman's done a good job on the defensive front. I know that Arkansas, the trajectory of them, they had a bumpy season, but overall their defense, I think, was pretty good. And I think Coach Saban said something positive about Chris Paul as well. Trevor Etienne, the running back of Travis, entered the transfer portal from Florida. This could be an interesting name to watch for a couple of reasons because, look, let me ask you guys inside the comment box. Does Alabama need to take a transfer running back? Yes or no inside the comment box. Here's the thing. Recruiting a running back right now is difficult for Alabama, whether it's a transfer portal or whether you're recruiting guys to come on in. Of course, you can always reload, and Alabama has several targets that they're looking at for the running back position. Jarvis and Jeff are saying no. Javion is saying yes. In my mind, I am saying no because right now you don't know what's going to happen with Jace and you don't know what's going to happen with Roydell. Those guys are seniors, but they both have the COVID year, so they could come back. I'm kind of thinking that Roydell Williams comes back. I have no inside scoop on that. I'm just kind of thinking that, does he really have a place in the NFL right now? I don't know. And then you have other backs behind them. You have Jam Miller, who is amazing. We saw him in the SEC title game. And then you had Justice Haynes and you have Richard Young. So I think everyone in the comment box so far saying no. I agree with that, and I think that you do take a running back in. You have to from the class. Who's it going to be? I'm not sure who that's going to be, but I think you take one in as a freshman, not as a transfer. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with ATN in terms of the transfer from Florida. Very talented running back, ran for over 700 yards this past season. All right, you have a couple official visitors this coming weekend. You have Will Sanders, who's an offensive line commitment from the state of Alabama. You have Joseph Ionita, another offensive line commitment, and Edwin right here is a big man. I mean, he's a monster target for Alabama. I don't know where he's going to go. I think when you look at I look at On3, you look at kind of their I don't know, it's like the predictor. It says that Auburn is the major player. This guy's he's like 6'8", 315 pounds or something like that. So having him in this weekend in Tuscaloosa is great to have him meet with Eric Wolford, and maybe things for Edwin will heat up, being that Jordan Seaton did commit to Colorado. I don't know, but it seems like Auburn is able to, swing some of these guys their way because of, the backing that Auburn now has and Hugh Freeze and everything that is, kind of on the back end of Auburn. So we'll keep you posted on that as things continue to move forward. Let me ask you this. For Alabama right now, when you look to their organizational roster, where do you think their biggest needs are? Like, what area do you think they need to fulfill? They have a quarterback. They don't have a running back yet. They have really good wide receivers, a couple offensive linemen. Could it be defensive linemen? Could it be guys in the secondary? Could it be – I don't know. So tonight, on Friday night, you have Ryan Williams. We're going to talk about him in just a second. Jeff is saying D-line. I'm kind of thinking D-line as well. Al Sanders is saying center. So tonight, Friday night, here at Bryant-Denny Stadium, you have Saraland and Chalkville, right, playing in the 6A title game. So you have Ryan Williams going against Jalen Mbakwe, which should be an incredible matchup tonight. I mean, Saraland's absolutely been rolling, and kind of brings me to my last point on this board right here. I think I need to talk about the portal needs as well. Brock is saying LT Overton. Look, I talked to somebody yesterday, and they didn't have good news about Ryan Williams. Now, I'm not saying this is official, and look, I mean, I'm just reporting what I heard. I heard on Ryan Williams that his decision is basically going to be he is going to reclassify and that he's going to flip to Auburn. That's what I heard. I'm not saying that that's true. That's just saying what I heard. So I think people know that could be a likely probability. But I'm sure there's people in Alabama's corner that feel it's going to go the other way, that he reclassifies and he stays with Alabama. I heard from someone yesterday that he's going to reclassify and flip to Auburn. So we'll keep you posted on what happens with that. I mean, I think that if he does that, I mean, it would clearly be another, top headline in college football. man, it's just like I kind of get back to that thing that I was talking about yesterday when Jordan Seaton committed to Colorado. You have to look at the long term, right? You have to look at much more than the NIL up front. And I don't know if that's why Ryan Williams would go to Auburn. I kind of think, like, just thinking about it, because they have the backing now, that would probably be the reason up front. If they can get a good quarterback in there, I don't know who that's going to be, but Auburn can pay whatever they want for whoever they want. I would think that you come to Alabama for the ability to go against the best daily, and to ultimately go to the NFL. And your NFL contract is going to be much larger than your upfront NIL deal. But as I showed you on the board, and Jarvis, you're exactly right. I was going to say this: it's the wild, wild west that we're in. Wild, wild west. That's why you're going to hear programs like that have a ton of money continue to be in play, right? You have the Oregon with all the money from Nike. They're going to be able to bring in whoever they want. Auburn with the backing of Yellowwood, they're going to be able to bring in whoever they want. And the crazy thing about it is Auburn is a scary, scary team. And I think they'd be even scarier if they had, like, can you imagine if Coach Prime was hired at Auburn? I'm serious. Think about that. What if Coach Prime was at Auburn and had that backing? I don't know what type of backing he has at Colorado, but clearly he has something. I mean, look at the guys that he's been able to land at Colorado. Can you imagine if he was in the SEC? It'd be a major nightmare. So, I think that Jarvis is right once again, man. 3 points for you, Jarvis. Auburn certainly is gaining momentum. I heard that Ryan Williams is going to flip. I hope that that's not true. That's just kind of, the something that's out there. And I think you guys already know that going forward. So let's just see what happens. I really hope it's not true, and I hope he does stay at Alabama. And when you do look at his film, he is definitely a game changer and an impact player. All right, so I have a couple of other things that I'd like to get to real quick, and then I'll start taking some calls. Kind of just, general college football headlines, the Snub Bowl. All right, so yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw, but the Orange Bowl press conference was canceled between Mike Norvell and Kirby Smart. So everybody started freaking out, and they were like, Florida State is going to, withdraw and not play in the Orange Bowl. That's not necessarily the case. Look, Florida State is 100% pissed off, and the press conference was, in fact, canceled. But it was because Mike Norvell and Kirby Smart couldn't make the VIP teleconference. It wasn't anything, major like these guys are going to pull out. So everything is go. I talked to a Georgia source, and they said that they're good to go, with the Orange Bowl. So they're calling that the Snub Bowl, which I thought was hilarious. Other college football headlines, we talked about this yesterday really on the show. Jordan Seaton picks Colorado. You look what Coach Prime continues to do, and I continue to say this. Look, Wild Wild West, NIL, and players want to play for Coach Prime, 100%. I don't think the players, they might look at a 4-7 record or whatever, but they want to be around him. They want to be coached by him. They want that type of energy. He's been able to do a really good job landing major recruits. Jordan Seaton, is going to Colorado, but this is the crazy thing. Somebody also said that Jordan Seaton could also take still an official visit to Oregon. Like, what? So I think Shannon Terry of On3, who's a CEO, he calls it silly season. And I was like, that's exactly right. It's like, okay, you commit to Colorado on ESPN, but then you're going to take an official visit out to Oregon? You're like, what is going on? So I don't know. It's probably not over till it's really over, till these kids sign the dotted line on the 20th. But that was some major college news with Jordan Seaton going to Colorado. And Coach Prime still staying relevant despite just winning 4 games this past season. And kind of the impact of NIL, right? Guys are going here, guys are going there. And what type of money does Alabama have in the back end to facilitate NIL deals? And this is what I was thinking too. Can you imagine if Alabama was able? How much money is distributed back to Alabama's football program to NIL, or like Alabama, which is their official NIL partnership, from former pro football players, right? Tua signed a big contract. So did Bryce. So did Will. Are those guys giving money back to the university? I don't know. That'd be interesting to see. I don't know if we'll ever know that, but it'd be interesting to see if those guys are able to put the numbers, because it's an arms race right now. And you have these millionaires, billionaires in this space writing checks to, universities, to players. It's crazy. It's so chaotic. All right. The last thing, it looks like Jim Harbaugh is lined up for a $55 million deal from Michigan. I think it's going to be for 5 years. But there was a clause in there that said that if he signs this, he can't talk to any NFL programs. Now, this has been something that's been happening for several seasons with Jim Harbaugh. I mean, remember, he coached the 49ers. We all know that I like the 49ers. And there was some talk about him going to the Vikings or whatever. So I don't know. Is he going to stay at Michigan for the long haul? Who knows? But it seems like he's always in the news in some capacity, especially. That's why I love the Rose Bowl matchup with Alabama and Michigan, because like Harbaugh if you rewatch, I was just listening again to that teleconference. I know he seemed kind of scared about drawing Alabama. I don't know. I want to get your take on that. But anyways, let's take some calls, and we'll start with the 256. Hey, good morning. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle. How you doing? This is Boots from Lake Gunnersville, Alabama. How you doing?
Hey, what's up, Boots? Welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you joining, man. Take it away.
Well, Kyle, I was here the other day. I caught the tail end of your show, and it said, I know you said something about, what was that, Milroe Daddy said that you didn't want him to start or something. Was that true?
Yeah, I think he was he was upset about AJ from New York kind of going on and on and on. And, I honestly didn't say anything back. But, I think as I reflected on Jalen Milroe's pops being upset, I think it is from that type of viewpoint, but I also think it's from the national media more than this show. Now, I know this show is big and I know we're getting subscribers, but it's nothing like an ESPN, right? And there's talking heads on that platform, like Colin Cowherd continues to say it's an average. He's an average quarterback. The CEO of Barstool Sports, right? I think he's a Michigan grad. He just came out and said that Jalen Milroe is a terrible quarterback. So when you're hearing that stuff, it's much larger than this particular platform. And there's still a percentage out there, I think, of non-Alabama football fans that don't believe in him. And I think that's what has him heated. And honestly, I think that's great for Jalen Milroe because you continue to play with the chip on your shoulder because it's reverse rat poison.
Well, I don't know, Kyle, who put platform said what, but I know it was a lot at the beginning of the year season was wanting Ty Simpson in, which I knew he wasn't ready. I think down the road he's going to be a fine player. But I know that whose team it was. See, it comes down to whose team is it. Well, that's his team, and not only that, Milroe's. If a person can't understand that Milroe's a number one draft, the boy from Florida last year that went to the Colts, if he is the number one draft pick, Milroe's the top quarterback in the country. There ain't no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing about it is Michigan, everybody come at Michigan, Michigan's scared and all that. Look, they need to keep their head on right. Now, I hope they don't fall into that freaking rat poison, because that's what it is out there. So they're going to come in and play them harder than anybody played them all year. So they need to get their mind right. And don't listen to that crap. Everybody talk, Michigan's scared. They don't want to play us. Look here, let me tell you something. When you're in the playoffs, a team will beat the crap out of you. It don't matter what team it is. You go out there and you don't play your game and come out there making mistakes. We're not mistake prone. We're not. We make too many mistakes. So we need to go keep the same attitude we've been had and beat people down just like we did Georgia. And we could have beat Georgia worse than they did. And the offense didn't actually play good in the second half. Not early. Mm-hmm. They didn't play good. Because they should have been taking it down into the end zone every time. Mm-hmm. Now, look here, Kyle, there's one more thing I want to say. Now, I don't care about the NIL. I don't care about who giving what money or what. Now, everybody that I know Alabama fan got $100 in their pocket. Now, I don't care what nobody got to do. Nick Saban need to get on that plane right now. And if that boy, Ryan Williams, needs $2 million, $3 million, I don't care what it is, give it to him. Because we can't let all of them have him, see. Mm-hmm. Now, they get that. They look at the whole big picture. He need to get on the plane right now. Right? I ain't talking about wait 15, 20 minutes. Get on the plane right now. And he ain't got to. Ryan Williams in Tuscaloosa right now, ain't he?
Yeah, I mean, he should because he's playing in the state championship game tonight. Yeah, so I would assume that Ryan Williams is already here.
I don't care what he got to have.
Yep.
I don't care what he got to have.
Yep.
I'm just that's what I don't care what Ryan Williams got. We can't let Auburn have him.
Yep.
You know, they will start pulling open that billfold down there. Not ask me for 100 or two.
Yep.
Every Alabama fan need to give 100 or two. So that how many fans we got? Hell,
Yeah.
that'd be 30, 40 million, wouldn't it? I think we can buy any player we want. I
Absolutely.
think we can buy any player we want.
Yeah.
You understand, Kyle?
Yeah.
Now, as far as Brooks, okay, he want to go on down the road. You know, might been a good thing for him. We got some boys that's going to play.
Yeah.
Now, do we need receivers? We need some receivers that's going to step. We see Bonds has done stepped up, okay? But then we're going to have somebody on the side of Bonds. You know, I think Benson's going to be okay, but they got to put the ball in his hand. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
And offensive line got to keep working, but they need to get their mind right because this is war. They fixing to go to war. Don't want them to think they're going out there to the Rose Bowl to have a Rose Bowl party. It ain't gonna be no party out there.
Yeah, you're right.
Just go get it done and get away from that.
Yep.
See?
Yep.
But anyway, Kyle, for all them naysayers out there, said we couldn't do it. Miro couldn't do it. They keep talking about Miro. Miro, I tell you what, if I had any protein, and if I was the what you call that general manager,
Yeah.
that's who I want. That's who I want. You understand what I'm saying?
100%.
Because not only is he a winner, the people around him play hard. You see, you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Not only is he a winner, so that's the kind of quarterback you want right there.
Yep.
See? Yep. And I'm gonna tell you what, he's better than anybody know. He ain't even scratched the surface of how good he is.
Yep.
He ain't. You know, a lot of people think he's 11-1 in his starts. Okay, he 11-1 in his starts. Who can say something? Yeah. You know, if that was any other quarterback, the best quarterback in the world, 11-1. He 11-1 and trying to go win the national championship. He failed just go out there and keep the same attitude.
Yep.
They can't go out there with we big bad Bama. Don't nobody care about that.
Mm-hmm.
You got to go out there and beat people down. Mm-hmm. That's what they got to get. They got to get their mind right. And look here, Kyle, before I get off, because they ain't no need me ratting on, because we all know the truth, that we after this championship. But they got to have their mind right. But listen, let me say this before I get off here. Go over and when you get off, when you close the show, go find Nick Saban and tell him, I don't care what you got to do, go get Ryan Williams.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't care what. If it's $5 million, he want that. He that good. We got to have Ryan Williams. We can't let Auburn have him. Yeah. We can't let that. Man, Auburn is garbage over there. Yeah. They just pure garbage. They're going to always be Auburn. They're going to always be the understudy. And tell Ryan Williams, go on over if you want. If you have to go on over, go on. But we're going to beat you down every time. And you're going to get hit over there. Yep. That's what he got to realize. He's finna get hit on that side of the, you know what I mean. All right, Kai. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide to you, Boots. Thanks for calling in, buddy. All right, appreciate you. All right, that was Boots from Lake Gunnersville leading off the show. I appreciate you guys calling in. Calling line is open, 205-850-1994. Inside the comment box, we had Shane ask, how does Auburn have more NIL money than Alabama? Well, if you guys do some research real quick on Yellowwood here in Alabama, he owns pretty much all the logging industry here in the great state of Alabama, and I believe he's the state's only billionaire, and he's backing Auburn like all in. Like he's went completely all in. So you have literally the state's only billionaire backing Auburn, and they can pretty much get whatever guy they want in terms of NIL. So they've went all in with Hugh Freeze. You know how bad that they want to beat Alabama. You know how bad they want to recruit against Alabama. They've already been able to flip a couple guys that we didn't think, that they could, and they did. So I'm not trying to scare everybody. I mean, these are facts. Like, look him up. And I think that it's going to be interesting to see, kind of the prospects that Hugh Freeze gets. And if he is able to land Ryan Williams in the next couple of days, I think that is going to kind of send a message to the world of college football that Auburn is here in terms of the money that they have it, that they want to build up the program. They just need a quarterback too. And you look to all the quarterbacks that have entered the transfer portal. The Nebraska coach said it yesterday. It's like to get a good quarterback, you need $2 million. And I think Auburn can do that. So kind of wait and see which quarterbacks are going to head to Auburn. I haven't really even seen any quarterbacks being forecasted to go to Auburn just yet. Have you guys seen anything? Let me know inside the comment box, because that's one thing that they need is not a serviceable quarterback, a really good quarterback. I don't know who they're going to get, but I would assume it's somebody from the transfer portal. All right. With that said, we go back to the phone lines. We got a 256. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Kyle, my man, this is Sean from Huntsville at Coach SPH. How you guys doing?
What's up, Coach? Coach, I was trying to get you
What's
on
up,
this morning, man, but I know you're putting in the work, man, so I appreciate you calling in. Anyways, it's cool to have you just linked up, now on the show. Your contributions on Wednesday, Monday, and when you and I are rapping are great, man. But anyways, man, we're kind of going old school. So with that said, welcome to the show.
Yeah, man, I'm here now. I'm in front of my screen now, man. Got you on the phone while I'm doing my work here. I had to call in and show love to you, brother, as always, and all the people in the chat.
So what do you think about kind of, the first of all, what was your take on Ja'Cory Brooks and some early transfer portal observations? I mean, I hate to say it's not a loss, but I think it was best for him to move on from Alabama's program.
Yeah, I got love for Ja'Cory. Ja'Cory's done some big things for us. I mean, obviously, we all know the Auburn game from last year, the great Bryce pass to Ja'Cory. We'd have been in some trouble without that. Ja'Cory is a class act. He didn't beat the program down. He didn't say nothing negative.
100%.
Young man just is getting older, and he wants to play, right? So I totally understand that. I get it. For me, I hope he goes somewhere where they can utilize him. The young man's a good kid. I seen Ja'Cory in several camps before he got to Alabama. Just wants to play, man. One of those unfortunate things, he got passed up on the depth chart, and his play time is got a little less than what it should be. So I have nothing but high praise and high respect and high regard for Ja'Cory, and I hope he lands somewhere that can utilize his talent.
Yeah, me too. And look, I like the classy exit. I mean, I'm sure that was a difficult decision for him. We've all left different jobs or got out of, different things that, were uncomfortable, but that's part of growing up and you move past it. And I think greener pastures are ahead of him. And he's a very talented player. And you're right. You kind of look to different players who have exited out. Sometimes things work out for them and sometimes it doesn't. But I think for Ja'Cory Brooks' sake, I think it's going to work out. It was just kind of the injury, and then some other wide receivers started showing out. So whatever, it's all good. When you look to this recruiting class and kind of the things that Auburn is doing, and look, I'm not trying to scare anyone, but these are facts that Auburn has the money and they have a coach, and they just played Alabama down to the wire. They're always going to play Alabama down to the wire, no matter who the coach is, no matter what's happening. But what is your take on Auburn from an overview, Coach?
I agree with the last caller, 1,000,000%. Ryan Williams, I've seen him in a couple of camps. I'll go on record now and say I was not very, it didn't hurt me too bad to lose Perry. Perry just is a big body receiver, good hands, big body receiver, sort of similar to Ja'Cory Brooks in a way. Maybe not even as fast as Ja'Cory Brooks. Talented young man, good kid, good family. It didn't hurt me as bad to lose him, but I'm going to tell you something, man. Ryan Williams is a talent. His kid is Devontae Smith 2.0. He's super duper talented. We don't want Auburn to get both of those kids out of the state. That'll send a horrible message coming from us to the state of Alabama. I understand Yellowwood is backing those guys. We need to keep Ryan. Ryan fits perfectly into what we do on offense. He comes from Saraland, which runs a very similar offense to what we have as far as the routes and the meshes. I don't want to lose Ryan, man. Ryan is a big talent, and that kid would have made waves here.
Yeah.
But it does send a message. We have to be honest. It does send a message, like you was just saying, that Auburn is in this thing. Auburn is in this thing to win it. And whatever the case may be, I really don't want to let Ryan go to that place of all places. And to your credit, like you said, recruiting is different now. It's no more come here, win championships, and that's the number one thing. It's about money now.
Yeah.
It's about money. All of this, everything you guys are seeing in college football right now is about money. Whether it's the extended playoff, whether it's extra bowl games, the
Yep.
Papa John's, Hubba Bubba,
Yeah.
Wheel Cap Bowl. Everything's about money.
Mhm.
Everything's TV contracts. So it's going to trickle down to these high school kids. And that's one kid we do not want to afford to lose.
Yeah, 100%. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, you look at, and I think to add on to what you just said is look where Jordan Seaton is going. Yeah, is it to play for Coach Prime? Yeah, exactly, because guys want to play for him. But do you think there's money behind it? 1,000,000, 1,000,000,000,000%. If there wasn't money behind it, if there wasn't a huge NIL deal behind it, Jordan Seaton is not going to Colorado. We know that. So
Exactly.
just what you said, it's the NIL is really transforming the game. That's why, again, I bring back to the fact that Nick Saban is still able to recruit at such a high level. Clearly, Alabama does have money, and Coach Saban, we've seen him been grinding out, going all over. I love the fact that he just met with Amari Jefferson talking about wide receivers, and I know they have a couple guys coming in, Will Sanders and also Joseph Ionita. But I think that overall, Coach Saban's still at it, still having the old school mindset of being on the ground and meeting with these guys. And I can't even imagine how busy he is in terms of the roster management, recruiting, and prepping the team for the bowl game. But Coach Saban is used to it, being 6-1 in semifinal playoff appearances, so far throughout his career. Coach, when you look to Alabama on the offensive side, the defensive side, and we do look to the transfer portal, or you look to recruiting, what do you think needs are? What needs to be met for this Alabama team? And as I asked the chat earlier early on the show, does Alabama need to take a ATN from Florida? What's your kind of take on needs and your thoughts on the Florida running back?
As far as the running backs, extra running backs can never hurt. These guys get banged up a lot. We have super great depth on the running back, in the running back position. We have some young guys that's going to be absolute studs, already superstars,
Mm-hmm.
just waiting their turn. Our depth always helps guys, especially at that position at running back. It would have to be someone that would understand you got to come in and compete and, sort of running back by committee. If you're asking me for position-wise, I think we need more cornerbacks. I know we have some young corners and Dez Ricks and some other young guys we got at the corner position, but these guys have not played.
Mm-hmm.
Trey Amos he's still here. I think
Yep.
he may still be here, but Kool-Aid, obviously we all know he'll be a first rounder, but I think Terrion has played himself into the first round as well.
Yep.
With a good workout, I think Terrion will be gone. That's possibly our entire secondary, minus Caleb Downs, will be gone.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely need more cornerbacks. We need more defensive linemen. You can never have too many defensive linemen, trust me. The more, the better. Justin Bogby is leaving. Obviously, his eligibility is probably gone. We definitely need defensive line and definitely need secondary help as far as depth and experience.
Yeah, I think you're right. You bring up a good point in the secondary, and I asked Chat that about earlier, and they said defensive line is kind of an area that they'd like to see added on. That's why I think you look at a player like LT Overton, a player that has experience, to come in and replace a Justin Ebogbe who's leaving that has all that experience, because I love the experience factor from the transfer portal. When you go into the transfer portal and you're bringing someone in, you have somebody who is coming in with experience. Yeah, they don't have experience with a particular team, but they have experience from playing the actual game. Justin Ebogbe is a guy who's played close to 50 games, if not over 50 games for the University of Alabama, only second behind Will Reichard, who's played in almost like 60 games for Alabama. So you have to have some experience step up there. And, of course, you do return Jaheim Otis and Tim Keenan up front, but I think replacing Justin Ebogbe with a LT Overton or somebody of that caliber would be really good. Coach, any final thoughts when you kind of look at the topics surrounding college football, or anything that you want to get off your chest regarding the upcoming Rose Bowl or transfer portal, NIL, anything like that?
Yeah, it's kind of like what the last caller said. He sort of stole my thunder. He did a great job. I hope everybody just stay humble, man. I hear a lot of our fans talking about Michigan and sort of the same thing the last caller said. They're afraid and this, that, and the third, and what we're going to do to them. Don't take these guys lightly, man.
Yeah.
Don't take Michigan lightly. Be extremely serious with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Coach Saban will beat that back into the players after the holidays.
Yeah.
It's a team that has lost to us before in a bowl game. It's a team that's hearing about how well the SEC is playing. We already got everybody in the country against us because of this snub that they say. So just be humble, get back to work, and let's go out there and set a tone with them. And I think we'll be just fine. I'll definitely be tapping back in with you, Kyle, as usual. And just holler at me, man, and I'll be right here supporting as usual. Roll Tide to everybody in the chat. What's up to Jared, Coach Moot, and you do a great job, brother. I saw your class you taught too, man. It was absolutely awesome. The clip that you had on Twitter.
Yeah, man.
Good job, brother. Yeah. You deserve every bit of it.
All right, thank you, Coach Sean. I appreciate you, man. I'll catch up with you soon.
Nope.
All right.
Okay, bro.
Coach Sean dialing in. Yeah, if you missed it, I was able to give a lecture on YouTube and kind of the business model to the University of Alabama yesterday to students who are achieving their master's degree. And it was a really big honor for me to be able to do that in that space and talk about a real passion of mine. I might post a clip or two on YouTube Shorts. I know a lot of people have asked me about that presentation. To me, it's a passion, right? And I always tell people, follow something that you have a passion for. And I know that's hard to do because everybody can't just, work is work. I mean, I have to put in the work just like you put in the work. But, I've always chased something that I've been passionate about. I have an entrepreneurial spirit. I'm not afraid to put in the work, but I'm always working on myself too. Like, as you know, nothing comes without hard work, and there's no shortcut to greatness, right? If you ever tried to get something by taking a shortcut, it doesn't work. It doesn't exist. So that's why I think I like being around Coach Saban too. Kind of have that dog mentality, not afraid to work, and that's why I have a lot of respect for those guys and what they do because they certainly grind. I mean, 14-hour days, more so, that's what it takes. It takes what it takes. And I love that kind of mindset and to be around that mantra. All right, we go back to the phone lines, and we have 865. We'll take that right now. Hey, thanks for calling in. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle. Angel from Pigeon Forge again, Tennessee.
Angel, what's up, man? I appreciate the calling, man. Welcome to the show, man. Take it away.
Yes, I think we should get one receiver in the portal right now that's really good is Julian Fleming.
Oh, yeah.
From Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Jameson Williams, he's kind of like that almost.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that should be a really good target for the next year's receiving corps, since we're probably going to lose Jermaine Burton. Maybe. I know he's got one more year, but just maybe we can get someone else to take over, have that mentality, just to lead the team.
I like that addition, and that was somebody that Alabama certainly did recruit, when he was in high school, and I think he does have a lot of these players. And just like I was saying with Coach Sean, when you get a transfer portal guy, they come in with a lot of experience, and I'm with you. I think that Jermaine Burton leaves the NFL. Chat, let me ask you guys inside the comment box, does Jermaine Burton leave to the NFL? Yes or no? I want to hear from you inside the comment box. I'm going to say yes. How about you, Angel? Do you think he leaves to the NFL?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Well, yes, because he just put on a good highlight tape for the NFL to the Georgia Bulldogs. He kind of torched them and these other teams. I know he's going to be a big impact against Michigan because they got to deal with him. They got to deal with Isaiah Bond, and now they got to deal with Jalen Milroe. So that defense is going to get torched up probably because they never faced this type of offense before in their conference in the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a different speed for Michigan. I think, their best matchup was clearly going up against Ohio State and the weapons that they have. But then again, Kyle McCord is not Jalen Milroe. How about this? I was just looking at college football headlines. Marvin Harrison Jr., who's up for the Heisman Trophy, one of the best wide receivers, if not the best wide receiver in the entire country, he might come back. And the rumor is on the backside that he might have an NIL deal that rivals first-round money. And I was thinking about it. It's like, you know what first-round money is for him to come back to play? What is that, like a $30 million NIL deal that he's getting? That would be crazy. So he said he's unsure if he's going to the NFL. Sometimes you hear a lot. I don't think that he'd get an NIL deal for $30 million. Who knows? I don't know. Are we at that point in time? But whatever the case is, the guy's an absolute baller. Angel, what else you got when you kind of look to the transfer portal or recruiting for the Alabama Crimson Tide?
I think we should just, like I said, get these other guys in the portal, like Walter Nolan as well, because we need more defensive players. Because we got people leaving left and right because they're not getting enough playing time or they're just going to the NFL. We just need stability at the positions.
Yeah,
But no, yeah.
Wow, someone is saying Gelato's saying 7 million inside the comment box. That's a crazy amount of money. Adam with the super chat. Hey Kyle, if we beat Michigan, do you think we match up better with Washington or Texas? Oh, rat poison question. Let me pose that for you, Angel. If Alabama beats Michigan, who do they match up better with, Washington or Texas?
To be honest with you, I like Michael Penix, but give me Texas because I want that rematch again because that was like hitting me in the mouth, you know. Like you got. I want that rematch. We need redemption to beat this team.
Yeah, I think
because that's a great story.
Matchup-wise, I think Texas mops the floor with Washington. I'm going to say it. I don't think that game will be close at all. I have a lot of respect for the quarterback and some of their wide receivers. I just don't think their defense is very good. And I think Texas is just – I think they're hot. I think they're going to get to the national title game. I believe in Steve Sarkisian. Yeah. And I do – look, you match up with Washington 100% better than you do with Texas. We already saw that matchup. Not to say that Alabama doesn't match up with Texas really well because now this is a different team. Texas is a different team. Everybody's a different team. But I think pound for pound, that's going to be kind of the game that everybody is aiming for is Texas versus Alabama. It would be really disappointing if to that point. But that's what people want to see. People want to see that rematch. People want to see, that game in Texas. They want to see that game in Houston between Alabama and Texas, a rematch. And I think Alabama fans specifically want that revenge tour to continue. They've talked about that revenge tour. They're able to beat LSU. They were able to beat Tennessee. What did those two teams have in common last year? They were able to beat Alabama, right? The last time that Alabama played Georgia, Georgia was able to beat Alabama. So that revenge tour continues, and I think Alabama's next opponent, when you look down the stretch, is Texas. But that's all rat poison because they have to focus on Michigan. And like Coach Sean was saying, and Boots was saying, don't overlook Michigan. And I think Coach Saban will do a good job of having these guys dialed in. How could you not? I mean, it is a Michigan-led team that is undefeated, and to be honest, Michigan has some reverse rat poison too. They've been playing really pissed off because of the whole sign stealing, and everybody has vilified them. And a lot of that, rightfully so. I mean, with that sort of stuff happening. In Harbaugh, look, like people don't like Harbaugh in college football. People don't like Alabama football. People don't like Jim Harbaugh in football, right?
Yeah, people are going at it.
Yeah, so those are kind of the things that we're about to go through. Angel, make one last point, man, before I move to my next caller.
Yeah.
What else you got, man?
Yes, I think we got to focus on this game first because that way we can't get in our heads. We can't let this, get over our heads and everything. We got to focus on one game at a time.
Yep.
And I just believe in this team in Mill Road because what a hell of a ride this has been on this train.
Yeah. 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 All right.
Well, we got to get after it.
Angel, well, I appreciate you calling in, man. Call again next time, man. I'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you. Roll Tide, Lank.
All right. Yep. I like that, Lank. Let a naysayer know. I appreciate it. All right. We got a 202, a 205 coming in. We'll take the 202 right now. Hey, thanks for being patient. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
This is Zach. I'm calling from Norman, Oklahoma. I called you a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, so. Zach, welcome to the show, man. I appreciate you calling in from Oklahoma. We appreciate you, and welcome to the show, man. Take it away.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm also Bill effing Murray in the comments, if anybody was ever wondering about that.
Bill effing Murray? I love it. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Legend. I guess I'll get started, and y'all have probably already talked about this, but with this Alabama and Michigan matchup, all Alabama, all these players are going to be hearing for the next month is how they shouldn't be in, how they got paid the committee, whatever that BS story is. That's all they're going to be hearing for the next month. I would not want to be playing us in our next game. We're going to have a month to rest. We're going to have a month to heal up, to strategize, to get ready for a Michigan team that I personally think, quite frankly, that we're better than. At least talent, pure talent and athleticism. I wouldn't want to be on the field with us that day after everything that's been thrown in these players' faces and Nick Saban's faces, on our fan bases faces. It's uncalled for. This outrage, I'm going to point something out that I've not heard other people point out about the Florida State decision. let's assume Georgia wins that game. Let's assume they win the SEC championship. And the way other things went down, we saw the committee put Texas in. They were going to put Texas in over Florida State anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We saw that.
Mm-hmm.
They put Texas in third. You got Georgia, you got Michigan, you got Washington, and you got Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State's already out. We could lose the SEC title game, and they're already out.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia was a much more solid bet to get in than we were if we went, because Georgia would have gotten in undefeated.
Yep.
We created that chaos that bumped Florida State deeper into the discussion, because they would not have been even a serious. I mean, of course they would have been discussed, but
yep.
I mean, when it comes down to seriousness,
yep.
deliberating in that room that night, our win is what opened the door further for them. Without that win from us, they're already out.
Mm-hmm.
And the committee just went with the team that caused the chaos instead of going with the team benefiting from the chaos.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and I think the committee had to eat some crow for having Bama and Texas so lowly ranked. And on Texas note, I'll get to real quick. I think they're like you. I think they're going to blow out Washington. I think it's going to be easy win, and I'm ready for this, especially since I live here in Oklahoma. Of course, I was born in Alabama. I lived there for 25 years before I moved out here, but I don't like Texas for the Alabama reason. I don't like Texas for the Oklahoma reason. So I'm ready for that rematch, and I hope we just run all over them too. So
why did Dylan I haven't read a story on Dylan Gabriel that really explained why he went in the transfer portal. Oklahoma's coming to the SEC. I mean, the guy's an absolute baller. He's been at a couple places. Does he just like to travel around, or like, what's your take on and what's kind of like the water cooler talk in Oklahoma, Norman, about Dylan Gabriel entering the transfer portal?
The theory is when Jeff Levy went to Mississippi State, that had a lot to have done with it.
Wow.
Because, the Oklahoma fans out here, this isn't me personally, but they weren't very fond of Jeff Levy because of the Art Briles situation and scandal in Baylor, and they're related through marriage or something like that.
Uh-huh. Huh.
So, yeah, I think so that the Oklahoma fan base basically just kind of, and I don't know why, because he was great. He scored 60-plus points in his last two games. So
no, that's
why they didn't like Levy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the guy's an absolute baller for sure. So yeah, that kind of makes sense. I was interested to get your take on that, because I don't know where he's going to end up or what's going to happen with him, or if he's close to making a decision. But I've always liked his game. I thought he's a really good quarterback, really dangerous quarterback. It'd be really scary if he ended up, it would probably be better if he ended up at Oregon better than at Auburn, right? Can you imagine if Dylan Gabriel goes down to Auburn? That would be an absolute nightmare for Alabama fans, for sure.
Yeah.
What else you got, Zach, when you kind of look to the world of college football, or what else is on your mind?
No, that was really just it. That point about the Florida State, and
I think you're right, because you bring up a really good point. If Georgia beats Alabama, Georgia's going to be the number 1 seed. Michigan won, so they're going to be the number 2 seed. Washington won, they're going to be the number 3 seed. And then they valued the Texas win over Alabama so high and mighty that they were going to be the 4th seed. So that's how the rankings are going to be if Georgia won. It was going to be Georgia versus Texas, which would have been a great matchup for TV, and it was going to be Michigan versus Washington in the Rose Bowl, which is another high ratings game. So those are going to be the rankings. Florida State, what would have been great is if they would have put Florida State, I don't know if they could do this, but Alabama versus Florida State in the Orange Bowl. That would have been an amazing game for those two. And I guarantee you Florida State wouldn't have been complaining that much. They would have been more worried about playing. I don't know. Who knows? Florida State seems to always be in the headlines in some weird and wacky way. I still don't think that Washington is better than Georgia, and I think they'll get exposed by Texas. But anyways, I appreciate the call, Zach from Norman. Take it easy, man.
I will add one thing real quick to that about the opt-outs with Florida State.
Yep.
That what you said reminded me. Last year, Alabama, when we played Kansas State, we were left out of the committee. No opt-outs.
None. Nope.
No opt-outs for Bama.
Nope.
But Florida State wants to opt out.
Yeah. I know.
So.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah, all righty, buddy.
Take it easy, Zach. All right, take it easy, man. All right, Zach calling in from Norman. Let's see, who else we got? We'll take Demetrius. Demetrius, what's up, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Hey, morning, Kyle. How you doing?
Doing well, man. What's your thoughts on the world of college football, the headlines of today?
It's crazy. It's crazy there, Kyle. Um, well, I want to first start off by wishing Corey Brooks the best of luck. You know, he saved me from embarrassment a couple years ago
Yeah.
by catching that touchdown. But you know, it's crazy, Kyle. Simple fact, because you know so much going on, and as much as it pains for me to say, Coach might have to step his game over him and them boosters. You know, on this money going around here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just can't go off on the merit, like the previous caller said. Just don't. Oh, you just come here and learn how to play hard. No, no, no.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. That's the nature of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
And so, hey, I wish to. I don't know about the Ryan Williams, how talented, but everybody keeps saying he's very, very talented.
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, anybody who watches, I said this yesterday on my show. It's like, go and watch his film. I mean, the guy is like and, you know, there's guys where you're like, you know, if they, like Jordan Seaton, you're like, dang, man, I wish he would have gone to Alabama. It would have made sense. But, like, it's not a huge loss. You're like, nah, you know, they'll get through it. Maybe, who knows? I mean, the transfer portal is so crazy. These players probably play at 3 programs throughout their career now. This is like the NFL, right? Remember the old NFL where you used to have your team for like 8 seasons in a row and you could buy their jerseys? Like, now you can't even buy like a jersey in the NFL because the dude's on the other team in like a season or two. Right? Like, all your jerseys are getting swapped out. And now that's how the NFL, that's how college is. And I think, like, I would go ahead and bank. I would bet. Would you bet, chat inside the comment box, that Jordan Seaton ends up somewhere else than Colorado throughout his college career? I'm going to say 1,000,000% yes. That's just the world that we live in. What else you got, Demetrius? We talked about Ryan Williams early in the show. I told you my thoughts, what I've heard. You know, hopefully it doesn't go down. But what else when you kind of look at, you know, the board that we're talking about college football today?
My last thought, I got to go to the veteran service office still. My last thought about college football is we know the cream has risen to the top. I'm tired of hearing this Florida State babble. All like Cal, I've been calling into your show for how many years, and what have I said? From NIL, transfer portal, recruiting cycles, all this is cost to stop one Jordan Brown team, one man. That's what it's all designed for. It's to stop Alabama. I wish folks would come out and just go ahead and say, this is why we're doing it, because of Nick Saban, and we want Alabama to win. Auburn, they're going to Yellowwood, are going to bankruptcy. I've been hauled out of Yellowwood before. They lumber raggedy anyway. I mean, only so it's all a big chaos just to stop. And eventually they're gonna have to put the clamps on this NIL stuff.
100%.
I mean,
teams are going to have some sort of salary cap, because Coach Saban always talks about this, the competitive balance. It's completely like all over the place. Can you imagine being like, I don't know, like 2 programs in like the SEC, like the Kentucky coach. Stoops was complaining. He's like, the boosters need to donate more so we can battle up against Georgia or Alabama. Like, they don't want
to do that.
No, so there's got to be some sort of, like, I don't know how they're going to do it, some sort of salary cap. But right now, that's what's making things so exciting. Like, in the content space, is like things are just wild. We have no idea what Jordan Seaton got offered. We have no idea what these players are getting paid. But it's absolutely crazy in terms of the NIL and how we're seeing all this foster college football moving forward. So yeah, NIL has created a complete chaos, and it's created parity too. Right, you're starting to see different players go to different schools, and and Alabama does have money, 100%. They're going to get their guys, and they're going to get guys who are coming in for the transfer portal that are going to be impact players. They're going to get their recruits. I don't think that Julian Sain is coming here for free, for a free lunch. So they have guys and they have money and they're going to use those resources appropriately. But so do other programs, and there's a lot of schools up at the top that just have millions and millions and millions of dollars because they want to be up at this level with Alabama. They want to be in the college football playoffs, but you can't buy your way to greatness. You have to have a great coach, and that's something that a lot of these programs don't have. What else you got, Demetrius?
And with Dallas done proved it, if so, Jerry Jones would be done bought a championship. I mean, so but yeah, this is my last thought. I'm gonna let it go. I got to go into the office right here, but if a young man won't, it's like I tell him at the barber shop, beginning of the year. Oh, Dion, here X's and O's,
Yeah.
X's and O's. You ain't gonna learn nothing at some of these schools. I don't care how much money they throw at you. You got to learn how to be disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when I ain't blowing my own horn. That's how I end up making. That's how I had to work hard to make all conference when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I made all conference as a tight end. I had on the defensive side. I made all conference. I mean all county as a safety. You got to work hard at it. You got to study. And these young men just want to go. I don't mind the payoff. Hey, I want to become a millionaire too, but hey, it's gonna ruin a lot of kids' lives. NIL. I gotta go, Cal. Roll Tide.
All right, man. Okay, man. Take it easy. All right, Demetrius. I think you're right, and I think when you look to NIL too, the short term is it greater than the long term, right? I think long-term play is always better. Hey, Adam, thank you very much for the super chat. You said the rankings should have been Alabama, Georgia, Texas, Michigan. Yeah, you could definitely argue those are the four best teams. I think the committee was hard-pressed to put Texas above Alabama just because of the head-to-head, but I think those are absolutely the four best teams, 100%. I think you saw the national title game down at the Mercedes Stadium for sure. The super chats help so much, honestly, and let me tell you why. Because I'm going to Pasadena, so I need all the support that I can get, and I really appreciate you guys contributing to the business model right here on Bama Football on YouTube to help us get to Pasadena and then to Houston after that. So thank you very much, Adam. I really appreciate all the super chats today. Thank you very much. If I didn't get to your call today, I will be online again at some point on another live. I am, and I say that because I might go live on Saturday. I might go live on Sunday. But my regular times are Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Central Time. You can call in, you can chat with me, and I really appreciate you guys being here. Sometimes the reason I went an hour today. Sometimes I go 2 hours. Sometimes I go an hour and a half. One day I went 3 hours. I mean, it was kind of just like what I was feeling like. But today I have Miss Terry, Coach Saban's wife, has an event. It's a luncheon for teachers, and she's giving away $500 gift cards to these teachers. And then afterwards, we're going to be able to talk to Miss Terry Saban. So, I'd love to catch up with her and, ask her a couple questions maybe about Terry and Arnold. I was thinking about asking her, about what was going on when Coach Saban's phone number was leaked, and if she answered any of those calls. Quit calling my husband. We're trying to eat dinner because his phone number got leaked out and he had all these calls after the college football playoffs. And if you missed it, Coach Saban was asked, they're like, where were they from? And he said, mostly Florida. So I think that was probably funny, them sitting at the dinner table, doing their thing. And look, Coach Saban, yeah, I get it. Greatest college coach ever. Multi-millionaire, has a home in Jupiter, but he's, at the end of the day, he talks about, his dog, jumping on his bed, him and Miss Terry watching Netflix. He likes the Pacific. I like Band of Brothers. If you've ever watched, he likes World War II stuff. I mean, it's all, I love it. It's all the same. And I love Miss Terry's been absolutely killing it this year. She is one of the MVPs. And, her telling Coach Saban to kind of get after them during that Mississippi State game, that's when, the season started, really taking off for Alabama. I appreciate you guys more than you know. Thank you very much for being a fan funder. You can hit the join button at the top of this YouTube channel. It says join right next to subscribe to become a fan funder. I appreciate the super chats. And all of the comments inside the comment box, the positive feedback. I do read through the comments. I am trying to continue to work on myself to make this a better product, and I appreciate you guys believing in me, and I hope that I continue to show that consistency to deliver on a daily basis, Monday through Friday. So or whenever breaking news happens. So thank you very much for being here. I really, really appreciate you guys. I hope you have a fantastic Friday, and I hope you have a really good weekend. Stay tuned for more content, breaking news, whatever. I got you covered right here at Bama Football on YouTube. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and Roll Tide.